Welcome to the Randumbesque podcast with your hosts, Dr. Paul Banks and Jim Mooney. And remember, always stay Randumbesque.
Welcome to the Randumbesque podcast, where we say, always stay Randumbesque. Hey, we're your hosts, Jim and Paul. And hey, Paul, we're out in the wild. Woo! Hey, peeps of 16, thanks for being here tonight. Woo! Thanks so much. And we have some cool merch that we're going to give away at the end. And we have a candle. And we have a hat, a shirt, and a hat. Yeah, we got some cool stuff, and we got some cool signage out here as well. And we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to the New Jersey Festival Orchestra for the September 27th concert. They're a new sponsor of ours. Paul, what are you giving away?
I'm giving away 2 gift cards to this wonderful establishment, 16 Prospect.
Yes, so we're giving all of that away at the end of the show. So anyway, I didn't tell Paul about this part, but he's a dentist, so he works during the day.
Don't tell me you're an anti-dentite.
I am not an anti-dentite. Love that episode of Seinfeld. So Paul can't pick up the phone because, I don't think he can be drilling someone's mouth and be picking up the phone, right? So what I do is I own a print shop and I do deliveries during the day. This is what I do is I drive around and I leave him random voice messages on his cell phone.
He has way too much time on his hands.
Yeah, well, I'm driving around a lot in Union County doing a lot of deliveries, which means that we're busy, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
However, I leave him random messages, so it gives me the ability to practice my Rocky Balboa. So I call him up. I'm like,
"Hey, yo, Paulie. Hey, Paulie, it's me, Rock. How you's doing? Paulie, I'm with your sister, and we's getting married. Guess what, Mr. Tiger? You're invited to the wedding." And I need
messages like that, and Paul's got to listen to it. What did your coworker say one day?
He just didn't understand what you were saying. What is he saying?
What is he saying?
I say he's talking Philadelphian.
He's talking Philadelphia. Nobody usually knows what we're saying.
No.
Right, yeah, we just talk like we're Rocky Balboa and cheesesteak wit and all that stuff. So anyway, we have 3 topics of conversation tonight. First, things that drive us crazy. Pet peeves, so to speak. Do they still call them pet peeves? I think so.
Yeah, they do. They call them pet peeves.
That's what we called them growing up.
You know what drives me crazy? You leaving those random-esque messages.
Yeah, leaving those random. Does that drive you crazy? Good.
It doesn't drive me crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to drive you crazy.
Actually gives me a laugh.
Yeah. And then we're talking, since we've lived in different parts of the country, we're going to talk about same product, different name, regionally. And then finally, we're going to reminisce and espouse with Tim Boyle, owner here of 16 Prospect, about the greatness of this restaurant in downtown Westfield, New Jersey. So we'd like to first thank 16 Prospect for hosting us this evening. Yay!
A true gem in downtown Westfield.
You'll like this word I wrote here, Paul. Thanks to the restaurateur. I'm trying to give it a little bit of a French flair there, Brothers Tim and Chris Boyle. And we will reminisce later in the show about this wonderful establishment. And first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, and we have a new sponsor, Paul, and guess who it is? The New Jersey Festival Orchestra.
The New Jersey Festival Orchestra.
You know what the New Jersey Festival Orchestra is?
Yes, it's an orchestra from New Jersey.
They are, very good. You're so literal. So anyway, they're a premier, fully professional symphony orchestra founded in Westfield, New Jersey in 1983. And guess what else happened in 1983, Paulie?
The Phillies lost in the World Series.
They did do that, but I graduated high school. Woohoo!
Wow, you're old.
And I started St. Joe's. So the New Jersey Orchestra has grown to become one of New Jersey's largest professional orchestras, having a presence throughout many, many cultural communities of New Jersey, and appearing as far afield as Carnegie Hall.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Just make a left on Tidy Tide Street.
It's practice.
Practice. What are you?
We talk about practice?
Yeah, I know. What are you talking about?
We talk about practice?
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about practice? Well, we are from Philly anyway, so. And they play there on a regular basis. So the New Jersey Festival Orchestra joined them for their 2024-2025 concert season. And their first concert of the season is Happy Birthday Bruckner. He's celebrating 200 years birthday.
It looks great. He looks great.
Yeah, he looks great. He doesn't look a day over 190, right?
Nutrition, physical
Yeah.
fitness, everything.
Yeah. So that's taking place on Friday, September 27th, 7 o'clock. I like to say 7:01, but we'll say 7 o'clock at St. Helens Church here in Westfield. To get tickets, visit njfestivalorchestra.org. And guess what, Paulie?
I'm all ears.
Guess what we did?
I'm all ears.
We got a guest coming in a few weeks.
Who would that guest be?
So we scheduled a Randumbesque conversation at the Roig Collection Art Gallery over on Broad Street.
With the maestro?
With the maestro, David
the
Rowe.
maestro.
Yes.
I'm actually very, very excited to speak with him.
Yeah, we are really excited to speak with the maestro. And we're going to discuss the New Jersey Festival Orchestra's upcoming season. More to come on that. For now, visit njfestivalorchestra.org. Tickets are on sale. And we want to thank Florham Park Dental Excellence with my partner here, Dr. Paul Banks. Visit them at florhamparkdental.com for more information.
I create smiles you can see for miles.
You sure do. That's florhamparkdental.com. And Minuteman Press of Clark. Yes, with me, Jim Mooney, and my son over there, Seamus Mooney. We are your branding and printing partners. Visit us at nj213.minuteman.com. Okay, so we're going to talk about things that drive us nuts. You know, pet peeves kind of thing. And I'm just going to start out the segment by saying I don't know if people say this to you or not because you grew up in Philly or that you're from Pennsylvania originally, but I hate when people ask me if I'm from Pennsyltucky. I'm like, Pennsyltucky? Like, I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. I did not grow up in, like, I don't know where, and some non-existent place.
I've never heard that.
Like, you never heard
Never heard of Pennsyltucky.
And I get asked that, often. It's just very bizarre, and it drives me nuts. I'm like, no.
What is the origin of Pennsyltucky?
It's a combination, I guess, of Pennsylvania and Kentucky.
Yeah, but they're not even near each other.
Well, they are on the other side of the state. Kentucky's near, like, the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, but we're from Philly.
I know.
No one likes us, and we don't care.
We don't care. That's why I think they asked me if I'm from Pennsyltucky to drive me nuts, which is why I'm talking about it. So what drives you nuts?
People in ShopRite going into the 15 item or under list aisle, and having like 40 items in their cart. And actually asked one woman if she needed counting lessons. Filter came off. I'm sorry. I was just so. It's just inconsiderate.
Yeah, no, it drives you nuts, right?
It really is.
Yeah. So the next thing I had, and we could do our own 3-hour tour on this show, which is Gilligan's Island. I mean, wow. Like, and what really drives me crazy is, and this is my niece Bridget's word I'll use here, like, complete weirdos can find the island. Like, misfits, whatever. Island of forgotten toy people. But the whole United States Navy can't locate Gilligan's Island.
And couldn't you come up with a better name than the SS Minnow?
The SS Minnow, really? And like, so like there's like a knockoff Beatle band that comes onto the island. Like, how did they find it? The Mosquitoes, right? And where did they plug into the amp? Yeah, where'd they plug their amp into? Like coconuts? I mean, they found the island, but the whole United States Navy can't
I don't
find
know.
it.
I think they plugged them into ginger.
Whoa. I don't think so. Okay, so. You know what else drives me crazy? And this is actually what started the conversation with you when we texted about it. Lack of a turn signal use. That just drives me nuts. People in front of you, they just turn, they just randomly come in, whatever. There's no ability to use the signals.
And what's almost as bad is when they're already in the lane, then they decide to put the signal on.
Yeah, it's like, well, thanks. Yeah, you almost half ran into me, basically. What else drives you nuts?
When you're texting with somebody, if you're going to end the text, say goodbye, say I'm going, don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
It's like you're waiting for that response.
Okay.
And it's just not there.
So I have another one, and it's probably not as relevant now as it was about a month ago. But it was like, Grimace comes out and throws out a first pitch at a Met game and helps them, go on this winning streak. Like, couldn't McDonald's, throw us, the Hamburglar or something, to help us when we were having a tough time back there in June and July?
You want to talk who's having a tough time now?
Yeah, right. The Phillies, right? Maybe they need Mayor McCheese to stop by or something to throw out a pitch.
Wouldn't be surprised tonight at the game. Everyone's cheering EAGL. Yes.
I think we might need the whole McDonald Land, character to come out and throw a pitch.
I love the Hamburglar.
Yeah, the Hamburglar. Right?
rocked.
Yeah. And then this isn't one that really drives me crazy, but my niece pointed out to me because we're from Philly. Everybody loves to say what intersection they live at. And that's so true. I would say I lived at Grant Academy. I didn't say Tarsdale.
Castro Cotman.
Yeah, Castro Cotman, right? And Ron and Bree or whatever. My wife would say Ron and Ripley or so. So, or not to Passyunk, go to Pats, you gotta give intersections.
Yeah,
so
and again,
there's always K and A, Kensington and Allegheny, the crossroads of the world back in its day.
And
so.
you like Pats, don't you?
I do like Pats. Oh, I meant to say that. Thank you for reminding me. I actually visited Ishkabibble.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He sent me a photo.
I sent you a text, and I brought you a present, but I forgot to bring it tonight, so I will give it to you.
Hope it wasn't a cheesesteak.
No, I got you a T-shirt from Ishkabibble, believe it or
cool.
not. Yeah, I'm Mr. Merch, so I love merch.
You are.
Yeah. So I can't always give it to Paul here, so I gave it a 9.8. It was really good.
It's better than what Dave Portnoy gave.
No, it was really good, and man, the wrapper was wrapped, and I'll have Bridget put the supers of my photos of my cheesesteak.
It's a good sandwich.
It was wrapped so tight,
good sandwich.
and it was held together so well, and the roll was so fresh, and the meat was cut up really well, and the onions. Oh my God, Ishkabibble's on South Street in Philadelphia, and I didn't realize there's two of them.
Well, they had one, and then they made Ishkabibble's 2 with seating.
Yeah, so pretty cool. But check it. I have to say, Paul, I got to give it to you. It was one of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had. So, Ishkabibble. It's a weird name, but a great cheesesteak. So we're going to move on to the next topic. So we're going to talk about same product, different name in different parts of the country. And the one I want to talk about is a breakfast sandwich that just completely has different names to it, depending on where you're from. And it's mainly a regional here along the northeastern seaboard, we'll call it, as they like to call it. But, and it's a big debate between in Jersey and Philly of whether you call it Taylor ham or you call it pork roll. So, Paulie, what do you call it?
A Taylor.
You call it Taylor ham, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you had discussed that you call it Taylor ham because that's what was written on the restaurant or deli you went to.
Yeah,
It said
so
Taylor ham.
when we lived in Pequannock, New Jersey, it was called Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. That's what I would order. Then they throw out salt, pepper, ketchup. Do you want salt, pepper, ketchup? To the Taylor, it's like, okay. So, and pork roll is more predominant Philly. Taylor ham is more predominant North Jersey. But then the actual bread itself has 3 different names that I've heard. So we call it a Kaiser roll in Philadelphia. Here in Jersey, they call it a hard roll. And then when I was working up in Boston on the McDonald's account, I went and got a breakfast sandwich, and I wanted to order a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. And I said, on a Kaiser roll. They had no idea what I was talking about. I said, a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. I thought, well, I'll go the Jersey way and say hard roll. She's like, what are you, from Jersey? I'm like, well, I did live there, so yeah. And then I'm like, well, what do you call this roll? And she called it a bulky. They call it a bulky in Boston. So you got Kaiser roll, you got hard roll, you got bulky roll. So pretty amazing. And then another one up in Boston, we call it water fountain. They call it bubbler. So just different names. What other ones you got?
Well, the 2 I have are not up for discussion in terms of what they are. It's not sprinkles, it's Jimmy's. It doesn't matter if they're chocolate, if they're sprinkled, different colors, they are Jimmy's.
That's what they call them in Boston as well.
Yeah, but there's, what's a sprinkle?
I'm not sure.
It's not just
I'm
not.
not sure.
And another one, and I'll use my Philadelphia accent, it's a hoagie.
Hoagie, definitely. Hoagie.
It's not a sub.
Yeah.
It's not a grinder. It's not a hero. It's a hoagie.
It's a hoagie.
Hoagies and Jimmy's.
And then one we were talking about earlier today was soda versus pop, in different parts of the country. Here we call it in Philly dinner, because we're at dinner time now. They call it supper. And then the last one I'll say, and if you have any more, bathroom versus toilet, like over in Europe. And so the funny thing is, when you're over in Europe, you see a lot of signs that say toilet. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of toilets on this street. But that's how they rent places. It's called toilet, not toilet. But I just read them fast. So just funny. Any other ones?
Well, the other one, it's really not a food, but it's where we're from, when you want to order a pizza, you say, I'm ordering out. And
Yeah.
up here, they say they're ordering in.
True. That's true. I would say order out. Yeah,
And waiting
so we
in
order.
line versus we say waiting online.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that had, before computers, that had a really
Yeah.
different definition of
That's
that.
true. But I would say, do you want to order out tonight? That's true. That's very true. The other one is, in Philly, you get carded. In New York, you get proofed. So with your ID. So again, just regional distinctions, even here in the U.S. So anyway, we are going to take a break for a minute. We're going to go get Tim Boyle for the next segment, who is the restaurateur of 16 Prospect. Again, thanks to 16
Thank
Prospect
you, everybody.
for
Thank you.
hosting us this evening. And we'll be right back with Tim Boyle. Hey, welcome back to the Randumbesque podcast, where we say, always stay Randumbesque. Okay, so, hey, welcome back. Thanks, everybody, for being here. So we brought in Tim Boyle. Hi, Tim.
How are you guys?
The owner here of 16 Prospect, along with his brother Chris. And I want to just give a little bit of background on Tim. So Tim, you and your brother Chris have quite an incredible restaurant training background. You graduated from the prestigious Le Cordon Bleu in Paris, and your brother Chris from the CIA. No, not that CIA. The other CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. Why, that's quite a resume, Tim. So if you could, tell us a little bit about that experience and how you worked it into the fare and menu and beverages and the atmosphere here at 16 Prospect.
Well, the way it happened was I was too stupid to go to school for anything else. So, not having the brain to be a doctor, a dentist, or an attorney, I had worked in restaurants my entire life, starting from about the age of 12, and loved it. Immediately loved it. At 12 years old, I was washing dishes. I was getting paid $1.10 an hour. And there were all 21 and 22-year-old women that were working the front of the restaurant who would bring me soda and candy and thought I was the cutest thing in the world. And when I got my first check, which I think was about $22.50,
Wow.
I couldn't believe someone would pay me to do this for a living. I absolutely fell in love with it. Worked straight through high school and then finally ended up going to culinary school. And my father had pushed me to go to Europe because he had lied about his age to enter into World War II. And at 16 ended up in Germany, and he said it changed his life. Traveling to Europe and seeing Europe, it just completely changed his life. So that's how I ended up over there. The way we work those experiences in here is that, the restaurant business is all about theft. It's all about theft. And I don't mean when you get your bill. That's the small part of the theft. There are no completely new ideas. Everything is on the shoulders of people that came before you. And so what we tried to do here, my brother, after culinary school, did his internship in Adair Manor in Ireland. And traveled extensively through Ireland. And we both loved Irish and English pubs. I loved the French cafe and bistro scene. They were totally different from, a 5-star or a Michelin star restaurant because there was community to it. There were personalities, there were characters, there were stories, there were tragedies and joys. It was just, it was a whole world going on in these little places, and it's what we tried to create here. It's part of the reason why we only have 2 very small TV sets, because it encourages people to talk to one another.
True.
It encourages people to engage with one another.
Yeah, Paul, I told you.
Well,
I told you, Paul.
But I think I was one of the ones that kind of pressed him for the small TV set.
See, Paul, you have to engage with me now, okay? See what Tim's saying?
Verbally.
Verbally.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
Yeah, so that, these were all, anything we did in here are all things we liked at other places, which we stole and then put in here, from New York City to London to Paris to, Dublin. And I personally believe I would rather eat in a cafe or bistro style setting than I would in a Michelin star restaurant. No offense to Michelin star restaurants, they're wonderful places. But it is not, you are never fully relaxed in a place like that. The food is on stage, you're on stage.
That's true.
The wait staff is on stage. Everything is scripted, everything is thought out to the last detail, including the phraseology they use at a table. Where here, and I hope we've done it well, we've always hired on personality. We really haven't hired on experience, because I want their personalities to come through. I want that to be the reason why you come back. If someone gives you the pat, they're reading from a card, hi, it's a wonderful day, it's not the same experience. It's not as
Yeah, like in Philly, we have phraseology. Cheesesteak wit, that's it. It's basically, hey, I'll have a cheesesteak wit. Do you want it with or without?
It's also,
That's with onions or without onions, just in case anybody doesn't know what that is.
But Tim, you mentioned theft, but
You want to get closer.
you mentioned theft, but in actuality, it isn't theft. What you've done is you've taken ideas and expanded on those ideas to be a little different. I mean, it's coming in here, as I've mentioned so many times before, to just sit there, order a plate of wings and a beer, and sit at the table and speak to you or speak to whomever comes in. I mean, it's a great atmosphere, and you don't get that in a Michelin 5-star restaurant. But that's not your goal here. Your goal is to, like how Jim and I met, to bring people together, to have friends together.
Yeah.
When we do all these events here, when we bring people in, a lot of times there are a lot of people that I don't know. I've never met them before, and you leave as friends, and that's the beauty of this place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is the beauty of the place. So, thank you for that, Tim. So we're going to move on to the next random thing. Of course, I had to pull one thing on you, Tim. I got to, I had to have something in there for you. Seamus is like, will he be okay with this? I said, yeah, he'll be okay with it. He's pretty irreverent. Anyway, so a random mess question, probably really rhetorical, but I got to ask it anyway. Has anyone ever come up to you and said the line from Monty Python's Holy Grail, spoken by the great John Cleese? There are those who would call me Tim. No one's ever said that, really. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
If you haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, that's a great line. Well, there's so many great lines in that movie.
Move closer. And,
So many great lines in that movie. It's like, I feel like the older we get, the more movies we watch, we all speak in movie quotes.
I will say that someone walked up to me and said, has anyone ever told you look just like Michael Palin?
Yeah, you do. Actually, I agree with that. Yeah,
I wish I had his money.
think that too.
I can see that.
I can definitely see that. But there are those who call me Tim. I just had that.
We're at the Jim Mooney amusing himself portion of the program.
Yeah. I cracked up when I wrote it.
Keep your hands on the table.
I'm like, I gotta put this in there. So, just please describe 16 Prospect. Talk about the nightly music and the entertainment offerings, because that's the cool part of the restaurant as well.
So I will tell you that, and we are so lucky to be so close to New York City, because the amount of very, very talented people, musicians in this area is staggering, and I think very different from a lot of other places in the world. We have people who make their living on music, which you can't do that everywhere unless you're close to a major city. So we've been incredibly blessed. But as great as that is, and as great as I think my staff is and the food is, I honestly believe the key to this entire place are the customers.
Yeah, no, that was actually my next point. Yeah.
I had a really interesting.
I absolutely agree with you.
I had a really interesting.
I think Paul does too, right, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, tell him you agree.
I agree.
Okay, tell him you agree.
Yeah, quick, they look
Come
angry.
on, hurry up. Maybe we'll get a drink.
I had a guy who used to come in from Ohio who did business in New York City, but insisted on staying at the Best Western across the street in Westfield because he loved the fact that he could walk to everything, and it wasn't a city, and it was nice. And he would come in for dinner, and he stopped me the one night, and he said, I got to tell you, you have a great place here. What a great time I had tonight. I said, oh, thanks, I appreciate that. And we started talking, and he said he was sitting down at the end of the bar alone, and there was a group of about half a dozen regulars that were sitting at the other end of the bar. And within about 15, 20 minutes, one of the people left the group and came up to him and said, are you alone or are you meeting someone? And he said, I'm here alone. They said, well, why don't you come down and join us? Now, the key to that is that has nothing to do with me. And it has nothing to do with my brother, my staff, the food, or the music. That is the customers that we have and the regular customers that we have.
Yeah, but it does have to do with you. It does have to do with you because you created that vibe.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that has everything to do with you. People see the vibe you created, and that's an encouraging thing to come in here. So you never feel like you're here alone. I've come here alone. Sometimes I get stuck talking to your brother, but
wow, come on, Chris is a good guy.
No, I
know. And yeah, no, I agree. And it's actually my third point is that I feel like as I wrote, the people are the fabric of this restaurant. And absolutely. I mean, Frank, I mean, geez, what an incredible person he's out there having dinner tonight. What is he? He gets seafood every night, pretty much, right? I believe.
And
Yeah.
he has his own seat.
He has his
Yes.
own seat.
His reserved seat.
He is a retired airline pilot, and I think he's close to 90 years old, if not 90 years old. 92.
92, and he is only one of two people who will ever reserve a bar seat for my father, who just turned 95.
Who's amazing
Yeah.
as well, still works
Yeah.
for Lindaberry McCormick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like lawyer of the year, I think, every year, right? Attorney of the year.
I don't know, I'm thinking if I'm 92 and still drilling teeth, I'm going to make some mistakes.
Yeah. You might start drilling my head. hey, where's my brain, Paulie? What are you doing? Get that drill away from me, you crazy thing.
Why is my eye dropping?
But
Yeah, in that case, you'll be in the chair and the patient will be standing up.
But, and we were talking earlier that Paul and I first met here at his networking event that, he was holding. And, and we're going to go into, we would like to espouse, we'd like to reminisce a little with Tim here. Go back in time. Bridget will add the sound effects, I'm sure. But anyway.
Bridget, that's a tremendous amount of pressure.
And we did the same thing, Tim. We actually stayed. We were looking at Westfield to live in. We were living in Boston at the time, and we would stay at the Best Western purposely. Barb and I. Yeah. Sorry. Although we love the Holiday Inn. Now that I know the Holiday Inn, I'm sorry. Holiday Inn Clark. It's an excellent hotel. It's right off the Parkway.
It really is, and we do see your shuttle pull up and drop customers off. Yeah.
Yes.
Jim, that was a great
Now
save.
I've had an epiphany about the Holiday Inn, and it's off it's off of exit 135, north and south of the Parkway. So it's an easy on, easy off hotel.
Jim.
Well,
Yeah,
be
but
careful.
anyway,
Be careful the way you say
yeah, I
that.
know.
Using the words, use epiphany, all these words. Did you spend all night reading your thesaurus?
I did. I read the
Right.
No, I just talked to Seamus. I'm smart because of him. I learned from him and my wife, the two of them. Anyway, so Barb and I were looking, and we ultimately landed, we lived in an apartment above the PNC Bank here for 2 years, and that's how we got to know this restaurant so well, and why it is our Cheers and my favorite bar of all time. I just love coming here. I have a great time when I'm here. And like Paul said, we know people when we walk in. I'm going to know, folks that are hanging out. We're listening to music. And these guys put on incredible, music and shows every night here in the restaurant.
And if I remember correctly, the first year you guys were at the PNC Bank,
Sounds like
I
we
think
were
it
in
was on
concert.
Christmas Eve.
Yes,
Joe Regan was playing, and you
Yes,
sang
I
Holly
did.
in the Ivy.
I
correct?
did. No, I sang Oh by Gosh, by Golly.
Okay.
It's time for mistletoe and holly. Tasty.
How many beers in
Christmas.
were you?
Oh, pretty far. I am Irish. I mean, you got to give me a break here. But and that's actually one of my other notes, Tim. It's like, wow, the holiday party every year. These guys put on a really incredible for all their guests, complimentary on a Sunday. We come in and they just pour drinks and have food, and just to thank the community. And Tim and Chris do a ton for the community and for the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce as well. But I also do love, Christmas Eve here. Barb and we've been here several times. Yeah, and I did get up and semi-karaoke with Joe Reagan. He didn't know it, but I said mistletoe and holly, and nobody knew it, so I had to sing it. So I sang it. It was cool. Paul, what would you like to say? Sorry.
I mean, geez, the highlights are many. I remember we had a surprise party for Marty Silverman. I spoke to Tim and asked him, made sure it was okay to bring in dessert. We went to Bovella's, bought a huge cake, and came in and we had a surprise birthday party for him, which was great. And just, they're really just times that we've just said to people, like we've done on the Westfield Facebook page, hey, come on, join us. We'll give you a couple tickets for a beer and wine and or whatever. And we've done things just to bring people in and people that we didn't know. And it's just this is a great place just to meet friends and develop new friendships. And it's just, you create that, Tim, and I know you don't want to take the credit for it, but
No, you absolutely did.
You being here,
Absolutely.
and
we keep talking about the people, which is, I agree. I think that's the fabric of the restaurant. Well, let's actually talk about the restaurant itself and the food. So I have an eclectic 2 favorites on the menu. I know Seamus and I are in agreement on this one. The pizza burger is outstanding. It's the first pizza burger or burger that I've had on an English muffin. Incredible. With the mozzarella, it's got the sauce or gravy, wherever you're from, that's another one, sauce or gravy. And it's got pepperoni on it too. And then a side of fries. Oh my God. I literally craved that sandwich. And the other one is the linguine and clams.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that is excellent. And I'll tell this story at some point, but I messed up with Francis Ford Coppola one time, and I called it linguinis and clams. And he's like,
well, that was your Philly accent.
yeah, I know. I said linguinis and clams because I got a little starstruck. And he's like, I've looked up the word linguine, and it's already plural. You don't need an S, just like a classic director would do. It's a longer story, but that, pretty funny. So I always make sure I say linguine and clams.
Well, and to our credit, we threw him out of here after he corrected.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you threw him right out of here. Where's Godfather
How the hell
4?
does he think he is?
Hey, where's Godfather 4? You
Where's
haven't done
Godfather
anything.
3? That was lame.
Yeah, where's Godfather?
And on with me on the burger.
Boy, wait a minute. Let's go back here for a second. The Godfather's probably the greatest movie of all
Yeah,
time.
but three was not good.
Okay.
3 was not good.
Oh my God, we're going into a whole Philly argument
three
here.
was
Oh my
not
God. Poor
good.
Tim's stuck in between us.
No,
3 was not good.
It's like being
'Cause
stuck
I feel
in...
like a marriage counselor.
well,
It's
if
nice.
you want to go into Philly, then we got to talk about Rocky 1 through infinity.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, Rocky. But it's like you're like stuck between Dumb and Dumber over here. We're going to start screeching in your ear.
Or
you
Dumb
want to hear the most annoying sound?
Or Dumb and Dumbest.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumbest. Yeah.
But when speak about the food, I have my favorite is the burger, but it's the avocado burger.
Yeah. Oh wow!
love
Look at you.
that.
You
love
fancy, Paul.
that avocado burger and the wings.
Doctor.
And
Yeah,
the wings.
no, these
yeah,
doctors.
you know,
He's
these,
So hoity-toity.
yeah, I'm hoity-toity. I walk in with my
A printer.
Walk in with my Capizios
Marketing
and my
guy.
Champs jacket.
I'm not a dentist. Here, give me that drill. I'll take care of that. Anyway, Tim, just incredible restaurant.
Thank you.
Come
Yeah.
on down to 16 Prospect here in downtown Westfield. Plenty of parking down here. Come on down, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Pleasure.
Okay, so we'd like to thank again 16 Prospect for hosting us today. Woohoo! And again, thanks to our sponsors, the New Jersey Festival Orchestra. Their first concert is taking place here in Westfield on Friday, September 27th at St. Helens Church. To get tickets, visit njfestivalorchestra.org. And again, Paul and I have scheduled a really cool interview conversation at the Roig Collection Art Gallery on Broad Street here next to the Rialto in Westfield with Maestro David Rowe to discuss the New Jersey Festival Orchestra's upcoming season. More to come. For now, visit njfestivalorchestra.org. Tickets are on sale. And to thank Florham Park Dental Excellence with my partner here, Dr. Paul Banks. Visit FlorhamParkDental.com for more information. And Minuteman Press of Clark with me, Jim Mooney, and my son Seamus. We're your branding and printing partners. Visit us at nj213.minuteman.com. And all of this cannot take place without a team. And we have a team in the background here that are here this evening with us, helping us out. And so our Randumbesque team producer, Ange Mooney, thank you very much. Production and editing, Bridget Hanlon. Hey, Bridget. And executive producer, Seamus Mooney over there. So thank you very much. You can catch us on Spotify. And for Paul and I, where we say, always stay Randumbesque. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks.
Have a topic you would like the Randumbesque podcast to discuss randomly? Please email us at randumbesque@gmail.com. That's RANDUMBESQUE@gmail.com. This has been the Randumbesque podcast produced by Moonrock LLC. And remember, always stay Randumbesque.